in that case, we should get started, because time keeps on slipping into the future, as they say. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. This is the Shade's Tale. We are an Ironclaw game. I'm Red. I will be your host for today's game. And we're going to go around and introduce everyone. First, let's do a recap and try to figure out where it was that we left off last time. Based on my immaculate notes, we began last session by saying we did not want to open a portal for the goblins to cross over into the material plane. So, rather than spend time looking for a druid, the party turns and heads south back to Baron Ashton Bennett's fort. At the fort you guys planned your next move, you decided to take a trip to the Pelaginici Monastery, and from there head north into White Ridge to deliver the Rinaldi sword to the Shade's children, and then head further north into the mountains where your map indicates there is a necromancer's circle. You guys part ways with Colette and Lily the Whip at the fort, which means that you're currently traveling with no extraneous NPCs besides the irregulars that you have cultivated. You find that at the monastery, Devin Meldgard, the psychopathic son of the Baron Meldgard, and his entourage are eating the monks out of house and home. The party decides not to hang around since they are Devin's current wanted quarry, except for Adris. Adris tries to manipulate Devin, fails, and drives him into a killing frenzy. Takes a minor wound for his efforts, but manages to get out of there alive, and seemingly pisses him off enough to drive him out of the monastery, which is probably a good thing for the monks. The following day, you guys climb the wall of Calabria, but find that Devin has sent some of his men out to cause you trouble, so they follow you up the wall and begin pelting you with sling bullets. The flyers, including Anushka, head down and interfere. One boar takes a bad step and falls off the cliff, and the rest of your party makes it to the top and into the mountains and the woods, the base of the mountains. You guys sense that a large storm is coming, but you press onward and you make good time. You find a cave which you had taken refuge in your last time you took a trip to the mountains. The cave belongs to a strange hermit named Ripe Dow, a bear who you ran into. Although on this trip, he's nowhere to be found. So you take residence in his cave and wait out the storm. That's where we left things. I think that's everything. So let's introduce our people. We'll start with Ark.
Hello, I'm Arklord. I play Connor Lavere de Gravis, Connor is a brazen raccoon knight errant and crusader. He has the goals of remove the necromantic circle in the Rothos Mountains and get the Rinaldi sword to the children of the Shade.
Cool. Okay. And next up, we've got Griffin.
Hey everybody, I'm Griffin. I'm playing the anonymous Armadillo Almoner. His motto is do no harm and also get paid. I said that wrong a little bit, but that's okay.
That's okay. And we also have Theta.
Adris Gar, Gorilla Dilettante Vod, Rake Pure Merchant, leader of the Chroma Game, personally proud by strength and guile, and I assume the goals have already been said, so no need to repeat.
Yeah, no need to repeat. Yep. Okay. We're down to Rafferty today, but that's okay. I believe part of the plan was to have Rafferty fly ahead and basically do an aerial drop of this sword over the town of White Ridge. Rafferty's not here today, and it wasn't going to be that easy.
I planned to go there anyway, so I could just, deliver it while I'm there.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. I was planning to begin this session being like, so Rav, how exactly do you intend to like show up and find these people and do this exchange and have no one notice you or recognize you? But this works too. Sorry, Griff. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah. I've already forgotten next. I think
can't
this is a
blame
good
you.
idea. Gar, you can take the sword and find them, give them our good wishes, and make sure that they're all right.
Okay. Does this mean that Gar is setting out on his own? He still has. Let's zoom into the map here for a second.
As on his own as Gar ever is, I suppose.
That's a fair point as well. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So,
Huh,
is
Gar,
that
why
the
is the
plan
sword
then?
glowing blue now that you have it? That's so weird.
Isn't that weird?
It would not do that. I believe,
Um,
I'm maybe reading into it, but I believe part of the swords thing is intent. Like the other guy didn't want it.
It could be magic. It's mysterious. So yeah. So let's see here. I'm gonna say that you guys are on a clear day. We're gonna say a 2 days journey from this cave to White Ridge. Remember, it's through the mountains. The weather has let up, but there's still like fresh snow cover. So you would have a 2 day trip on your own to get to White Ridge if the rest of the party is going to stay in the cave.
I say, should we separate and just have a meeting spot? Like, you're going to be here, I'll meet you there.
I think that's appropriate. I don't think we need to have any business in Mount Grimart. None comes to mind other than dropping off the sword right now.
Right, because you're wanted there again, so it's...
Exactly.
And it behooves me not to be there when you're there, otherwise, why are you always there when they're there?
We have all of our provisions. All we need to do is make sure we stay nice and warm, and I suppose I am worried about the cave's owner, but perhaps they're just on a journey up north again.
He might be overripe.
Right. I think last
Hmm.
time... Now I remember what I was going to ask. Last time we clarified that like his furs and stuff weren't here, so he probably moved, I think. Or was on the move. Trade.
No, he still has. It seems like a lot of his things are still here. You can see there's like fishing gear. There is sort of the makeshift bed that he had. So yeah, it looks like he should still be here. It looks mostly occupied. But when you arrived, the fire pit was cold. It seemed like he had not been here for some time, and he does not appear at any point during the 2 days that you are holed up in there.
Yeah, the for some time thing makes me say I probably shouldn't try tracking or searching because it probably won't really turn up any.
It would be very
Because-
difficult, especially after the weather. But if you were curious about him, I could offer that as a goal if you wanted to discover the whereabouts of Ripe Dow.
Sure.
Just to give you something to do.
Yeah, discover the whereabouts of Ripe Dow.
I should write this down as well.
And I don't need to open any goblin gates. There we go. We finally did it.
Yep.
So I'll do that while Gar is busy, and Gar can go ahead and go down.
Okay. So we're splitting the party as we like to do on this channel. Hold on. Okay. Let us begin. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. If you weren't watching the stream, you'd just be like, what happened? Well, that's what happened. I just wanted to get my mic where it should be. Okay. Let's begin with Adris and his trek to White Ridge. So let's see here. I don't believe that you're any... Well, okay, so typically you would not be in any kind of rush. However, you were harassed by Devon's soldiers, and they are still out. As you'll recall, Devon wanted to kill you in a fair fight, and you said, I don't really want to fight you, and that did not bode well for him. It was only by the graces of his followers that stopped him, because they realized that while it's totally fine to kill someone in a mutual, a consensual duel, it's another thing to kill someone just because you're in a killing frenzy and they happen to be there. So you got out of there, but apparently he holds a grudge, and he sent these hitmen after you guys up on the wall. And it's a little bit of meta knowledge, but for the sake of the role, he's still sending people after you. You guys have a head start, but they are... he does have hunters and rangers who are familiar with this region, who are scouring the area and trying to find you guys. I'm
Well, you
going
mean
to
me.
specifically you.
But I
you,
guess the
your
danger is
entourage.
there that he might then accidentally find the doctor and
This is true as well. So, what I'm going to do.
We do also remember that he's a bit of an idiot.
He is a bit of an idiot, but that does not necessarily mean the people he employs are also idiots. Some of them are very good at their job.
Yeah, I just remember it only took like 5 words to sway him from listening to them, listening to somebody else. So,
Yeah,
him being an idiot is still very much at the forefront of the problem.
indeed. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask. For you, Address, I'm going to look for a sort of an overland role, right? I think this should be speed. Endurance could factor in here. Stealth could factor in here. If you have tracking or survival, those can also help.
I have low profile. Would that help me? I am traveling in a group of people.
So the
Low
argument
profile
being,
is more searching, more social, right?
No, it's not
I
social.
I considered it more social, but I mean, like,
No,
so
low
the argument
profile
you're
is
making
literally
is,
who hiding in a crowd. Anushka uses it all the time. The wording I'm looking it up now.
But they're looking for a crowd.
No, they're looking for us specifically. I thought, yeah, it's a bonus D12 to blend in with crowds. I don't know if they're looking for a crowd of my people. So remember, I showed up by myself.
that's a fair point. They did see you climbing the wall in a larger group.
And I believe we've had many talks before about random people can be out here wandering too. So if they're just looking for me and they're not assaulting every group wandering in the area.
I guess so, but I have to imagine that they would.
Because yes, low profile, the text of it is to deceive others that you're unimportant bystander or to stealthily blend in with a crowd. It's not a... I guess it's a social if you're tapping it to lie to somebody about, but I mean, the text of it is to stealthily blend in with a crowd. And I am surrounded by a crowd.
That is true. That is true, but I think ultimately, like, they're.
Again, my thing is I didn't show up to where he was with my whole group. I only showed up with me. So they wouldn't be looking for my whole group. And then I just merge in with my group that they're not looking for. And I'm hiding in a crowd.
I feel like if your instructions are scour the forest finding these people, we know they're headed north, we know that they scaled the wall, so that's kind of their starting point, and they're going to be somewhere in the mountains. I feel like if you find people in the wilderness, that's where you start, right?
So you are taking the stance that they're basically harassing everybody that they find.
Yeah, not that they're necessarily attacking everyone, but like if they're in the forest and they hear the sounds of travelers, they're going to go investigate those travelers. And then I guess I could see your argument of saying like, oh, while we're traveling, I'm just trying to make it seem like I'm just part of a group of people not associated with me at all.
Right. If they accost the group, I'm still low profile. I'm still trying to blend in with the group. That would just go with the stealth check.
Okay.
I guess it's a multi-level here. If I fail to stealth and not be detected by them, and they accost the group, then low profile would kick in, and I'm hiding within the group. So that they could then accost the group, harass them, but determine that I'm not there on a successful low profile check. That this is just a random group of strangers that just happens to be in the area.
I make the counter argument too, though, that tracking might give away information that you are there specifically.
Well, again, the problem with that is that there's only one way up here, so any group coming up this way would have gone through there. You know, if you ever gone to like a mountain trail, right? During a snowy season, that all of the tracks are gonna start from somewhere and just like kind of mesh out in the directions that people go.
Yeah. I guess the thing that is sticking in my craw about this is that it means if we let this go, it means that you can use low profile to stealth in any circumstance where you have your group with you. I just don't feel like that's the spirit of the rule.
I think it doesn't apply if they know who my group of people are.
Don't
But
you listen to that Theta's lies.
no, I'm saying I feel like that it only applies in situations where they don't know my group of people. I specifically went up to that place alone.
Right.
They never seen my group of people. My group, this specific group of people, did not exist the last time I was around.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'll give it to you.
For all intents and purposes, to anybody looking for me, this is a group of strangers.
Yeah. I mean, it also implies that, I mean, there's intentionality is the other part of it too. Like, if you are traveling for days and great distances and you're like wearing a hood and pretending to be, I don't know, just another doppel soldier or whatever you would be to blend in there, it's like, but it's fine. That's fine. I'll give it to you if you want. Low profile. It's a weird use for it, but whatever.
Well,
I'm
again,
still rolling
it's
a D12.
it's a secondary use for it because it doesn't apply to the initial roll. It applies to if they find the group. If we fail the first roll and they accost or harass the group, this is the secondary.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the secondary for them not finding me in the group, and they have no idea who this group is. All they know is I'm not there. Therefore, why accost the group?
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that then. So first, we'll just see if they can find you guys as you travel. Assuming, and again, anybody in your entourage who can contribute stealth or if they have tracking, I feel like tracking's a gift that can work to cover your tracks as well as to discover tracks. Survival's another gift that could apply here as well.
It never comes into play.
I know, right? You're rolling against, it's contested and it's against a D8 and 2D10. You guys in the cave will also roll against this, but your pool will probably be different. And I was not really thinking about it, but let's see. What did we decide was the skill for like making camp? Is that also one of those weird uses of craft? Because we did this once before in the mountains while you guys were being hunted, where you made camp, but you tried to make it stealthily.
I do think it would be craft, but
I would give craft and stealth.
all right. Well, actually, no. If you're trying to keep something hidden, it's deceit.
Right. That sounds right. Okay. Yes. Craft. You can do craft and deceit. You guys also are in a cave, which was already kind of hidden. So I'll give you a D8 bonus to that. If there's anything else you think could apply there, go right ahead.
All right. So what kind of roll are we looking at here, Ken? What's the total?
Let me do my roll first, you guys.
Okay.
Since we're going to be using the same roll against multiple people.
Sorry, I had a question, and I was looking it up before you moved on to what they needed to roll, and I didn't want to interrupt to ask. You said if any of my guys had tracking, that could help.
Yes.
Do you want me to just, like, roll each of them that has tracking, or...?
I would say tracking gives a bonus D12. If you've got people with tracking in your party, you can just take a bonus D12 to your roll. That would account for
I have 2 people in my party that have tracking. That's why I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess normally I would have you make this roll and everyone else assist. So, it would be... Yeah, so, like, if they were assisting with
better,
it...
so they might be assisting someone who actually has track.
Right. I mean, you could also do it that way if you wanted to have one of your followers make the roll and assist.
No, they can assist me, and they'll just give me a D8 if that's the way we want to play this.
Okay.
What was the skills involved, though? Sorry, I was so focused on tracking, I completely missed the initial roll.
Yeah, so for you, I was speed and stealth.
Ah, cool. I'm gonna get found.
Well, let's see what they rolled. They could roll real shitty.
That they did not.
They did not roll real shitty. Damn, that's not
I dare
bad.
say that I cannot beat them.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, because I could not get over a 9. I couldn't get over an 8, in fact. Also, wait a minute, do I have a D4? I, in fact, do.
You're taking all of your entourage, aren't you?
Yeah, I kind of have to. I need a crowd.
Okay, just wondering.
Well, I think Arcler's got like 5 or 6 people with him right now, right? Or 7? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was just trying to math out in my head, like, which regulars are where?
Well, 5 including Potter.
Wait, let me see.
Or also, are you
1,
counting
2,
yourself
3,
in
4.
that too? Because you did last time.
5 irregulars, 1 potter, and 1 conner.
So it looks like we're going to get into that low profile situation anyway.
Yeah. So I should probably be thinking
So I'm
ahead
in that
here.
very weird scenario where I've gone from a fight everything guy to another fight everything
nothing
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget Dan.
Oh, I remember Dan, the fighting man.
Dirty Dan, the fighting man. But yeah, no, from a fighting guy to a fighting guy to a... I rolled well once to throw a dagger at a boar. Or not a boar, whatever we were hunting that one time. And this guy
Right.
thinks that I've ruined his life.
It was fate. It was the one time I wanted to roll low. Okay. We're waiting on Connor. Griff, are you also or you're just contributing a support die to Connor?
I mean, I have tracking, and I was waiting to hear what our role would be, because Gar's was speed. What's ours gonna?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yours is actually what did I say? I guess it would be mind
Mindcraft,
and
deceit.
deceit. Yeah. Mindcraft.
Alright.
Deceit, so.
I'm going to make my favorite use of deceit camouflage.
Interesting.
I've used it for that before.
Yeah. Okay. Camouflage.
I do have a D10, a D12, and a D6. So I'll ask if Connor's group is interested in assisting me, since I am the best at this.
It looks like Connor gets 3 assists dice from his people, and one of them was from Potter, who I believe is a team player, right? So currently that'd be a D12 and 2D8. And I'm counting Connor himself. That would be
So
3
are you and your
D8.
group going to assist me,
Yes.
Connor? Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead and add those in. And that is
Hey.
1, 2, 3 success, and 10 to top off their 9.
Well, yeah, that's really all that matters. You got 1 success versus their roll. So you guys managed to successfully camouflage the already decently camouflaged cave entrance. Pretty much as soon as the blizzard stops, several hours later, you can hear people poking around outside. One of them comes in to check and make sure. I know I've got people doing lawn work outside, so if you guys can pick it up on the stream, I'll close the windows. Just let me know. But yeah, this cave itself is somewhat hidden. There is sort of like an entry that looks like a narrow passage, and then you guys will recall that there was a secret crevasse in the back, and that leads into Ripe Dow's actual chamber. And you guys have managed to, pile rocks or branches or something to make it look impassable. So even though you can hear people poking around, they don't find you. They don't find the actual entrance. And after about 15-20 minutes of scouring the area, they've obviously discovered some signs of your passage through here. They will move on.
And there we go. We're hidden.
So you're hidden. Okay, so let's talk about when they catch up with Adris and his crew. First thing, I'm going to put another mark on the map since we are now split up, and I want to make sure we know where everybody is. So do that there. And we're going to move Adris on his way to White Ridge, which, as we said, was at the base of Mount Grimart. Okay. So you're making decent time, Adris, although it's about a 4-day journey from this cave entrance to the town, and we'll say that through the second day, this group catches up to you. You can hear disturbance in the sparse tree cover around you, and a group of boars emerges. There are 8 of these boars and 1 wolf ranger who will step out in front of your party and say, "Hold, travelers. These woods belong to the Baron Meldgard. On his orders, we are searching for someone. We ask that you comply with this lawful search of your party. Please put down any weapons that you may be carrying. And Adris, you recognize this wolf who's speaking to you. He is none other than the Ranger Fletcher, who you guys hired to help you find your way out of the mountains the last time you were in here.
Yep.
You do recall Fletcher as a D10 Ranger.
I do.
He's good at what he does.
Okay, and we determined that you're going to try to blend among your party. And I guess for them, would this be search or would it be like inquiry? Inquiry is reading specific people, so it'd probably be search.
Yeah, if they're physically looking for me, that would be search.
If they're physically looking for you, yeah, that's a good question. I'm tending towards inquiry because I feel like we don't get to use it that often, and that's me. I try to split up the skills, but
yeah, then in which case low profile is not going to come into play because they're not actually looking for me. They're just talking to people. In which case, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, you do have a large group, but it's not like no one could count everybody in your group.
Sure, but just keep
but I
moving.
guess they're addressing you as a group is the thing, right? So
in my mind's eye, I've seen the ridiculous, a couple of people form like a little human wall and they keep moving around sort of thing where I'm just twisting around behind people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I feel like it's like Adris has adopted a stoop and he's got like a hood over his head and
Worked for Superman.
Right.
Or do I mean Clark Kent?
Or indeed. Okay. All right. Well, we're here. Let's play this out. I will let you use low profile. I am going to give them search. Because they're trying to determine if you are their quarry. And they're going to do it by basically looking through your party members and seeing if any of them match this description. And you can sort of low profile is not sticking out in a crowd.
Yeah, the doctor's correct. They could also just choose to murder everyone on the mountain.
Oh, yeah, but they're not,
I know. I'm saying it sarcastically. That they could choose to say every pilgrim, traveler, and anyone wishing to trade with White Ridge, or whatever the hell it's called again.
White Ridge, yeah.
Yeah, everyone wanted to trade with White Ridge. Any approaching soldiers from the other barony in Harrogate that we made a deal with. Everybody, literally everybody, we could kill on the mountain.
Of course.
The murder's back on the table, boys.
Just
want to kill...
Just to kill this one guy who pissed me off.
They were just sent to kill you.
Started a war with the Biscleve to do that diplomatic envoy that got murdered.
Okay, Ranger don't get searching dice. Neither do mercenaries. So they're just going to be rolling 2d8 for this check to try to find you.
I mean, we basically know that I'm leaning on a d12 as my only out here anyway, so...
Exactly. Let's see. Damn, I'm rolling these high numbers, high
there's
numerals today.
No purpose to me rolling my d4. I'm assuming speed is going to be in this, so just the d12.
It would definitely be stealth, yeah. So let's see the d12.
Boom, there we go.
Yo.
Nice, okay. All right, so after a cursory examination and poking around, Adris, by some miracle, you...
Like you said, it's the whole plan. It's a mix of what you said, where I've adopted a stoop and I'm putting on a hat and a robe and some shit, and me also doing what I said, walking behind people doing anything. Probably a mix of the two. Like, I keep changing hats and robes and cloaks. I walk behind one guy, take his hat, walk around another guy, pull his cloak across my shoulders.
Oh, beautiful.
And there's like 70 people here.
Comedy of errors, that's what's going on.
Yes. Yep, okay. So this whole transaction seems to last only about five minutes or so. And then Fletcher will hold up a paw, signaling. There's a sound in the distance, and you can't quite identify what it is, but it seems to concern the hunting party. And they say, all right, stay safe, travelers. These mountains are dangerous to those who come unprepared. We apologize for waylaying you. And with a little one of these, all of the boar guards will reform in their configuration and begin pressing further down the mountainside from the direction they came from. And you hear the noise again. It sounds like an echoing, almost like a sneeze from very far away, but answered by several smaller coughs or sneezes. And you've encountered these before. You think that they are the sounds of a roving pack of wild raptors. And you've encountered them in the mountains before. They're not friendly. So, Adris, the question I have for you now, that you have evaded these guys, do you want to try to lay low and maybe take a break and hope the raptors don't find you? Do you want to try to press forward and maybe make good time? So again, hoping that the raptors, you can outpace the raptors. Well, I guess we'll say that they're behind. They coming from the direction behind you. So it's possible you can get to White Ridge before.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get to White Ridge is literally the only thing to do right now, anyway, because this is hostile territory with roving bands of what are basically bandits.
Indeed. Okay. So we're gonna do one more thing. We'll say if you want to pick up the pace, you can likely keep a good distance between you and these raptors. But we'll have your party make endurance rolls versus 2d4. And
the entire party?
Yes, the entire everybody, all of them. See if anyone falls to fatigue.
God, I can't remember. Does strength apply to this?
I think strength is specific
Not
application of
hiking.
So
Hiking
would apply.
Hiking.
Yeah.
This is the hike. This is where hiking comes. Okay.
Yep, it'd be body in endurance, and then hiking would be useful here too.
That's right. I don't have it. I'm the least able party member.
And let's see. You'll probably just be rolling against 3s, but we do have 2d4s.
Okay,
rolling against a 4.
Is it the same roll for the flyers?
Yeah, I think this is a measure of basically time and exhaustion. The idea is that normally you'd be moving forward at a certain pace, but now you're pushing yourself a little bit further to stay ahead of these raptors. So
right, I just didn't know if they would roll weather sense instead of endurance or something like that, But
right. No, we'll keep it simple. Endurance. Okay, winter is success.
I figure doing one at a time leaves a little less dead air. Guys, you don't have hiking. You do have hiking. That's all.
Well, while you're setting it up, I can also ask the remainder of the party who's back there. How is it that you intend to? What was the goal? Find Ripe Dow?
Yeah, discover the whereabouts of Ripe Dow. So, our pursuers have left the area, so we're free to kind of head back out and do some looking around. So I could go ahead and make a tracking roll.
Yeah,
I think that's the most obvious thing to do first. Yeah,
and I will leave my irregulars with Potter at the front to guard the entrance, while I go and protect the doctor.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm
going
going
to roll some searching to assist me.
I have no searching skill, but I could just roll the stat if you want to risk me watching and ruining the entire.
I'll just go ahead and roll then.
I have a quick question for you too, though, because I'm going to roll a difficulty die here. It be just because of the recent snowfall and everything. Do either of you have the sense of smell as your observation stat?
I think I do.
Okay. Do either of you have
spell.
keen nose? Is the question.
I do not have keen senses, no.
Keen senses? Okay. So I'm going to roll this difficulty die. If you had keen senses, it could negate the highest showing die. It is going to be a D10 because the trail is kind of cold and because, as I said, there was this snowfall.
And I suppose I'm going with mind and searching here. So let's do
mind and searching. And if you have tracking, that would apply here as well, too.
Yep.
Ooh.
Hey, there we go.
You got that 11. Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter what I roll. Yeah, nicely done. Okay.
Well, you could roll lower, and I could get an even better result if you want.
That's a fair point. Let me do it. 9. Okay, so yeah, I'm rolling fire today. Okay, so you do get 1 success. Although the trail definitely is an old one, as we mentioned, Ripe Dow is a stanky fellow, and his scent prevails in this area. Most of it has faded with the weather and the time, but you do manage to find a sniff your way to what appears to be a path, a disturbance in the underbrush, large enough that only a very fat, semi-hibernating bear could manage to make. It also seems to lead north.
Does it seem to be on the path to Chevrolet?
Let's see. Where is it? Path to the Chevrolet. Now here's again the problem. We didn't mark this down. I don't remember exactly where the other Chevronets tribes were, but we're gonna say
the one we went to was at the Arrow Head Mountain.
Arrow Rock. Yes, perfect.
But there could be plenty of other Chevrolet in the area, all waiting to ambush.
Exactly. There are many, but yes, we'll say that it does seem to indicate to be heading up in that direction.
Unless they're sieged by the military forces, by the way.
Exactly.
Because that's happening right now, too.
Okay, but by the looks of it, he's not bleeding, there's no signs of, struggling, he's not, limping along on one foot, he seems fine at the outset.
Right, he probably has kind of high blood pressure, but other than that, he seems okay.
I can tell by his gait he has high blood pressure.
Exactly. You are a doctor.
So at least, some of our concern is alleviated for now. If we head up in that direction, we'll say hi, but for now, I think it's probably time to head back to the cave.
Okay, cool. Alright.
To venture further without informing Gar and going on our own would probably not be. We're heading up that way eventually anyway.
One rule, and that is... Well, we don't have a rule, but yes, we're trying to reunite and keep the party together. Did you guys plan to meet up at some place? I forget.
We're basically going to stay in the cave.
Oh, I mentioned that you guys should move ahead, and then I would meet you at the further ahead points that we're both making progress.
Really, I heard the cave, but...
Well, we never actually set up a point. I think I said that. Well, I think I said that, and then you gave the goal to find this dude. In which case, that forward progress was no longer on the table since you have a different goal now. I thought you guys were going to be heading towards the necromantic circle, but now you have a different goal.
Well, the thing is, it would be hard to describe an area for you to find later where we're also in hiding.
The thing that doesn't come into play a lot is that I have a bunch of flyers with searching and everything like that, and searching and tracking because they're hunters and everything. So I'm actually pretty good at finding people. It's just I'm traveling with a bunch of player characters. So
Right.
So if you just set up a destination ahead of time, I would probably be able to find you. It's just that, like I said, you guys
don't know the area well enough to set a destination.
Well, no, also the fact that you guys we all got a goal to find the guy who lives in the cave, so now you don't have any impetus to leave the cave area at the moment.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Connor, you're part of this too. If you wanted to go ahead and do that sort of thing, but I'm kind of opting. We stay in the cave until Gar returns, and we head out together.
Have we reached the end of the cave system?
We didn't explore into the cave. We went outside to go look.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. We can figure this thing out retroactively. It's just a matter of saying, hey, we want to meet at a spot. It wouldn't be hey, we want to meet where we find the ripe Dow, because obviously you guys don't even know. You haven't done your search yet at this point. But you could say, there's probably a landmark somewhere between here and there. I'm sure that Anushka would be conscious of it. So it's you could be oh yeah, we'll trek out and go around the mountain and meet up at some middle point here. Ice Spire Peak, right? And then
yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So let's poke back at Gar then.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll all meet up under that tree with the dead body.
Okay, so Gar and his party arrive at White Ridge, the base of Mount Grimart, which towers above the surrounding peaks. Its own peak, perpetually hidden by swirling snowstorms, and you know that up there, you can see dotted up the mountain are the signal fires of tiny outposts, and the well-worn paths that the miners take to bring their bounty down to White Ridge. White Ridge itself seems like a tiny beacon of warmth and comfort, at a distance, nestled against this harsh mountain terrain.
I feel
Of
like
course,
I'm
you've
gonna
been
have
there.
my crowd dissipate throughout the
Okay.
town, except for my 2 bodyguards.
Cool.
The
And as
sisters
you
I'll
have
take with me.
got your doppel soldiers, nice. Okay.
Actually, I think I'll have my people dissipate throughout the town to try and find those people that I'm supposed to be looking for, where I'm going to take my first step to go meet with the Baron again.
Okay, I like it. Everyone's in good health. Despite the march, you guys made it without anyone flagging or falling behind. So, as you enter into White Ridge, you ask your party to disperse, and they fan out and begin asking for, searching for these characters. And you're going to make an appearance at the castle?
Yep.
Baron's Castle? Okay, cool. The castle again is made of dark, cold stone. It looks very just severe, kind of mirroring the military coolness that the Baron Meldgar seems to exude. He's got he wants to project an image of strength, and he tends to brag about the harsh climates making strong warriors.
Yes,
But
how fares the war in the Rothos?
he seems to be in a foul mood when you come upon him. Those men you sent, those mercenaries, spineless wolves of the plains.
Oh, they weren't mercenaries, actually. They were soldiers of the plains.
Weak is all I have to say.
Well, I was really hoping for the technological advantage, The Vaslov do love their guns.
Yes, they brought guns and powder. But
I was rather hoping for a more long-term benefit between you and the Lord Bennett, being both here on the border between 2 nations, strengthening the alliance,
He says, well, those... Word from the front is that those pups... all of them, cowards. My men, too. Superstitious. They should be... Well, they should have... They were trained better than this. I have half a mind to go up there myself and whip them into shape. But no, the word from the front, the first attack was the first lines were broken and driven by the Chevernace. The messengers coming back, sending reports that they are in league with demons. Apparently, dark magics are at work, or so my spineless men say. All of it Chevernace trickery, I assure you. But don't worry, we have another unit sent up there, and as I said, I may make the journey with them to.
I feel like I have to put a finger over my mouth and tap my upper lip for a second. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. What religion are you?
Hut! We in these lands follow the path of the Luterist.
Right. But there's some around here that also follow that half Luterist, half light thing. And then not very far from here are a number of druids, and beyond that you have the Phelan and whatever the hell they think. So it's really hard. Like I said, you're very much on the border, so I don't know if what you ascribe to. So you couldn't get I don't know, some Hexenhammers or Blessed to counter this demonic invasion or whatever it is that's happening?
This is interesting. Okay, yeah. And I remember that you guys did speak to a priest here. Is this one? It was there was a tiny chapel or something.
Little hut, but he was a Solomere type guy.
Yeah, right. He was a Solomere guy. So the fact that he was
token Solomere.
The fact that he was allowed to practice here at all would imply that at the very least this guy is one of the septuagenarians or something. But so yeah, but that's a very good point. He says,
I think a septuagenarian would be a Luterist still, wouldn't it? Because Septicus is a prominent figure in the Luterist religion.
Oh, is it? Okay. I'm trying to remember the name for those The sort of
He's just a
like...
bad guy, as far as I remember as well, so...
Oh, okay. Then I guess maybe one of the Pelaginesi or the synergists or whatever. The ones that are like kind of accepting of both
It's the one that
fates.
Colette is, that I can't remember the name of, which is why I can just said it in character. The weird mix between...
Yeah, the weird mix. It's like
Pelaginesi.
no one really knows. What is it?
Pelaginesi?
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
the name of the monastery.
that's the name of the monastery. What they practice is another word, but essentially, yes, those guys.
I could open the book, but I feel like this is something we could just go over.
Yes, this is fine. In any case, it seems like Meldgard is not really the most religious of individuals, and he lets out an audible scoff when you bring this up. But when he sees your helpful face, he'll consider it and he'll say, I never put much stake in the magics of witches. We don't have any here. There are rumors of some hermits, potentially blessed or members of the matriarchy that camp not far from here, but, they keep to themselves, and we have not seen any sight of them in the town.
You have to
for some time.
You have to remember, sir, it's not for you or me. We are strong-willed men who need not these things. But for
Indeed.
for the men on the field, it's a matter of morale. If they believe that they're being killed by demons, then they need to see a vision of their own side to strengthen their resolve. Otherwise, you might see more of this break and run that you've been getting word about. They
Show the morale.
They need a fire in their chest, not a crop to the back, if you will.
Okay, I think this is a convincing argument. What would your mind and negotiation dice be? I think this is a case where if you wanted to rote, you probably could.
Well, if it's a negotiation, this should be diplomacy as well.
Indeed, yes. So how large would your dice pool be?
I don't
if you
actually
could
know.
rote with 2. Yeah.
Hold on, I guess I have to see the thing is, I always just roll faster than I can look on my sheet. My sheet is multiple pages of notes.
Oh, gotcha.
In fact, I have my notes
If you
section.
prefer to just roll
You
it, we
should make
can.
a second quick sheet, and then make that one 10 pages.
I would be rolling with 6 dice, if that matters.
Yeah, alright. So if you wrote it, that would be 3.
Like, the very bottom of my sheet I was editing a little while ago. Devin Milgard, son of the Baron. Full caps, not an ally.
Not ally.
Well, it's because I had his name listed in allies across the world,
Yeah.
a whole section of my sheet thing that I've been writing down, but he was in the middle of it, so... Devin Milgard, son of the Baron, not an ally.
Do not trust this man. Wants to kill you. Fair. Yes, okay. The Baron has heeded your counsel before, and even though he seems to be in a foul temper today, you've learned how to, you've learned how to sway him without, bruising his ego in the process. And he grumbles and he says, "Yes, you are a wise strategist, Gar. You're probably right. I can dispatch some messengers to seek out these witches, and perhaps they will assist the men. I expect better of Mountain-born."
Look, expectations are a weird thing. Did you know I met your son on the way up here?
Oh, you did you, Devin? Yes, I know he's been milling about to the south of the mountain.
Oh yeah, no, he was getting wildly drunk in the monastery. I thought I'd stop by, say hello, see how he was doing. Tried to stab me in a room full of people. I refused to engage. It was beneath me. I'm sorry to say that about your own kin, but truth be told, that's where we are. And on the way here, he sent an entire engagement of people to try and kill me. That's why I'm traveling with these 2 fine ladies right now. So I guess he's only made my trek that much better. But, yeah, expectations. I thought your family was kind to me. Turns out there's a black sheep amongst the crowd.
Yeah,
or whatever the actual word of that would be, not black sheep, obviously.
It would, right, yeah. No, it's just, it still would be, it's just racist against sheep. Just,
Odd man out.
I mean, it's not a sheep family, so I guess it plays or it doesn't play.
It's fine. Winter seems.
Well, that would be
implied
with Chevrolet, so that would be really bad news. Well, no, that's goats.
There's goats. Yeah.
Well, Winter's a
It is
yak,
sheep,
so
though.
I mean,
Which is yak, really? Oh, I thought he was a sheep. Okay.
Hold on. I in my head he's a yak. I believe in his token he's a yak. If he's a sheep the whole time, I am screwed.
You would know
Nope.
better than I would.
He's
I might
an
have just been.
ox. He's an ox. Sorry, it was the alchemist. It was a
Oh.
yak. That's why I'm thinking
Gotcha.
yak.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, when you tell him this, the Baron utters an oath, and he's gonna turn on his wife and point an accusing finger in her direction and see, huh, this is your fault. If you didn't coddle him his whole life, perhaps he would have learned some respect and proper discipline. I must apologize, sir. If Devon shows him his face here at court again, I will see that he is rightfully punished, but I am glad to know that he did not cause you any permanent damage. If there's anything that I can do to repair this wound between us, please let me know. Once I see that boy again, I swear I will wring his neck personally.
I assure you, Baron, there is no rift between us that your son could thrust himself into. We are good old friends of that type. Again, he tried to kill me in person and failed. He sent men after me to kill me. He failed. I believe you're seeing a series of events here.
Pattern.
Yeah. I don't mean to speak ill of your bloodline, but perhaps you might look into siring a replacement.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, he's furious. I mean, not that he needs more reasons to be furious, but he is furious.
Well, he
Let's
sent the
see
boy
here.
after me, and then kill two birds with one stone. Or two boars with one stone, rather.
Okay, so yeah, he says, well, you catch me, I am embarrassed. You catch me as my spineless men break rank. My worthless son disgraces me and dishonors his family name. If there's anything that I can do, I pray we can drink these embarrassments away. Please, you will be my guest tonight. Drink food. Bring a minstrel. Bring a bard. Only the finest for my dear friend, the of House Gar.
I should say, my good friend, Sir Milgard, your home is so well out of the way from the world that I believe it shows the degree of friendship that I feel between the two of us. That I, a man of the Rinaldi lands, of, shall we say, just of Triskellion, have spent so much of my time making treks up here to your lovely home to spend time with you and yours, that I believe it shows the amount of trust between the two of us.
He says, well, it's clear that in your heart beats a warrior, a mountain man. I can see that much. The mountains call to you like they call to me. We are of a kind, Sir Gar. They're setting up a banquet, basically. Drinks are flowing. Your messengers will come back and say that at the best they've heard of a couple of maybe a handful of strange nobles that have been seen in the court lately. These are rumors that they've heard of people in the town, but they do not uncover any kind of any of these children of the shade, like camping out or drinking at the local tavern or anything like that.
Oh, so Philippe or whatever the hell his name is isn't here anymore?
Well, not necessarily. So, as you are drinking with the Baron, he gets some drinks in you. His tongue loosens up a little bit. He bemoans the fact that he's surrounded by imposters and spies. And he says, the last time you were here, you'll recall there was that treacherous bitch, the avoirdupois woman, Colette, who was their hostage, and how people conspired within his own court to sneak her out, his own serving staff, and you'll know that they were punished correctly for that, for their part in it. He says, now we have spies visiting dignitaries or nobles, make themselves out to be part of some minor forgotten household to the south. However, he suspects that they are indeed lying. He has a sharp eye for these things. So he's currently basically imprisoned them into their quarters. There's a small owl who, although he speaks like a noble, speaks of things, of households that the Baron has never heard of. And so currently he's keeping him and his entourage as hostages, as sort of forced prisoners or forced guests, right? Under his hospitality.
Yeah,
He's making
same.
sure that they can't leave. The
Sending
same
a leg
difference, right? Basically, yeah. And he has dispatched a messenger to travel south and to confirm the authenticity of his claims that this, noble family does exist, and that his story of traveling north is true or not.
Lost
right?
House of the South? Did they say what their name was?
Let's say This is why game prep is important, because I should fucking have a noble family house ready to go, and I don't. Where's my random name generator? Actually, wait, we could do this. Use your random name generator. Boop. We need a Triskellion name. Triskellion name. Hello? Click. Triskellion name?
Yes, House Not Real.
Not real. Not really.
House alias pseudonym.
My macro's
Never
not
know.
working.
Is it not?
No, and maybe it needs to be reset on
Hold
my
on.
end.
No. Try it. Now.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. The Dew Beater. Oh, jeez. I don't even know what that means. I like Lutozzo. I'll write this down so we can remember it. Lutozzo family. Okay. The Lutozzo family is we'll say is like a minor house that they actually do exist. Although they have, I guess the story for him being up here is that he was he's stopping on his way north to a family holding in or a business in Opinion or something like that. And some part of his lie just didn't hold up. Like, the Baron is shrewd enough to be able to read him, and he's not that good of a liar, so
It's a bit of a wide turn. Be heading towards Opinion.
I suppose so. Yeah, I don't know what the...
Well, I mean, you would probably take the river. I guess you can't take it for now. Well, I mean, if he's from Triskellion, there's no reason why. He's not part of the war. I mean,
It's
you
true.
would
I
be
mean, it's
heading towards
dangerous.
you'd be heading towards the Chevenet's Pass. You head from Auroville up to Opinion. Or, as
Exactly
Raph,
right,
if
you would
Raph
head
would
that
say
way.
if he was here, he'd just take a boat from Triskellion and go around.
Right, he would just take the long way around. So maybe that's not where he was headed. Maybe he was headed up to, like... I don't know. It's immaterial, ultimately, because it was a lie, and it didn't hold up. That's the important part. I would spend more time trying to get it right, but ultimately, it's bullshit.
It's ironically the same place where I about lied to when we met the Gar family back in Triskellion. Where are you going? Broken Coast. Well, what's the town that's there near the Broken Coast? Opinion.
Right, exactly. No one goes to Opinion for any reason. It doesn't. It's a shithole. It's impossible to get to, and it sucks. And there's Chevernace on the road.
It's the equivalent of having a Canadian girlfriend.
Exactly. Yes, I have an Opinion girlfriend. Let's see. Lutozzo.
That's just your opinion, man.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, I'll go get a replacement rug.
Exactly.
All you guys pissed
They
at
really
my
pulled
rug.
the room together. Okay. So yeah, basically, it was my long in-narrative way of saying that Gar realizes that it's likely that Frederick the Owl and his people are here in the castle, being kept under house arrest, while the Baron checks out his story. The Baron will guffaw and say, I expect my messenger back any day now, and once we have the truth of this matter, I shall enjoy quartering him and his mongrels for their crimes. Impersonating a noble! We do hold these laws true even here in the mountains.
Can we freeze frame on this and go back to the other party for now? Because I really want to address this situation as it stands right now, but I need think time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Brain Palace, activate.
I need to enter my mind palace. Fair enough. Okay then. We can drop back to you guys who are hiding out in the cave. Let me enter my brain palace temporarily.
Meanwhile, back in the Armadillo Cave.
Back in the Armadillo Cave. Okay. I like it.
All right. Sorry, were you about
no. If you have if you have something that you'd like to do, you can. Otherwise, I can inject drama like a pastry chef with a thing full of icing.
There we go. I think it's called a pipette, but maybe that's a different rule. Anyway, but
too early for words.
I think
like
that's
that.
right.
Pipette sounds good though.
Those are some pastry bags.
Yeah, but I think the edge of the pastry bag is a pipette.
Yeah, I mean, I could be confusing it with chemistry, which, same difference here. It's cooking. So let's see. So we're here. We have a rough idea of where our friend went, and we wanted to head northward so that we're closer to Kermard when we need to meet up with our friend Gar and head north. So we're heading north, and we need to find a new location further north that will satisfy us for the time. We don't know how long Gar will be. I assume maybe a day or two in town. Who knows what he's going to get up to? So we just need to travel, find a safe place, eliminate our tracks, and hide again.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is, as you guys are heading up here, we'll do a normal hiking check, which is we'll do body and endurance, right? Body and endurance, and hiking can apply here. You guys are trekking through these passes were hit heavily by the storm, so we're going to add a hit for your men
so
too.
I don't have a reroll since I'm not skilled in it.
Okay.
Now here comes the point where it's like, maybe we should just have some pre-read macros. Copy paste it in for all the endurance hiking.
Right. Well, I like making travel rolls, and I feel like the mountains are the one area where I can justify it.
To think I was this close to having regulars too.
Jesus Christ. We're traveling with like 50 people, a fucking concert hall everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go is a village.
Really, what I should say is that, like, for stealthing and stuff, for moving discreetly, you guys should just take huge penalties. Because every time you're traveling more than like 8 people at that point, everyone knows where you are at all.
Yeah, traveling cross country without being noticed and informing people that we've been there would be impossible, essentially. But I mean, that's still all good. Because if we're in a larger group, that means that they have to send a larger group to deal with us. Stray bounty hunters probably could not deal with a 50-person group. They were all.
I guess that's the balancing mechanic there too. Is that like yes?
At some point, it is like
you're just literally leading an army around.
They would have to send a small army with us. We're playing Mountain Blade at that. We're just assembling our horde of minions and hoping they level.
All right. Potter is going to try to assist Vern.
Yes.
Let's see it.
Is it a D12?
Yo.
Game of a 12.
That looks like a success for everyone at that point.
Okay. I think everyone is doing well and managing so far in this journey. And you're kind of following the trail that you think was set before you by Ripe Dow. As you're journeying every now and then, you can find signs of his passage, either large snow burrows, or maybe scraps of his tattered cloak along the way. And it is let's do one of these. I need to make a better one of these that is sized correctly, but what are you going to do? Okay, so you guys are traveling north here. Several days go by uneventfully. You have made camp in a shallow basin, sort of on the side of one of these mountains. And you are in the process of a breaking camp when you hear rustling in the woods. Do you guys want to give me initiative rolls at a difficulty of 5? Because these are coming from a ways away. We'll say medium range.
Aha, 5. Wait,
Nice.
no, I need to do better than that.
In the Rothos Mountains, raptors stalk you.
5s are in fact our best, so I believe that is raptors out of the middle of the woods.
And my regulars will all rote, as will Potter.
I don't think they can broach with the difficulty that high.
Well, it has to beat 5s.
Yes.
It has to beat 5s.
Then their highest are 6s, and that beats 5. So they can still. They wouldn't be able to road if it was like 8s.
I think the problem there is also you're roading things that are like generic situations, not
True. Okay, so if you want me to,
I mean,
we've
wrote initiative in the past too, so that's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's always been
Yeah,
weird,
I mean,
but I think that was just time saving.
Yeah, and in this case, we can keep to the time saving. It doesn't mean you guys don't have you don't have focus, but you can draw your weapons basically. Okay.
They do take us by surprise, seems to be the thing.
Ultimately, yeah, that's where we're at. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to point out one of these sentences in the. By the way, the section for roasts is called "Same Old, Same Old." When a task isn't dire or contested, you can use a rote instead.
Yeah, I think when it comes to, I feel like as a time-saving measure for irregulars, if you guys had like macros or something set up for this type of situation, then I'd be fine doing it. But I don't mind using.
But otherwise, what Arcloid said was correct. Because you consider your dice maximized in a rote. So
Yep, and then you cut them in half. The success is in half. So yeah. Okay. So Connor, your men are ready, are there, but basically
didn't start the fires, so the fight will start without us.
Yeah.
Just watched a reaction to that song the other day. Well, the other day, I mean yesterday.
So, how many regulars do we lose at once?
Right. Well, what you do lose is there's a flaming arrow connects with one of your tents. The tent begins to burn and blaze, and you guys are now realize that you are surrounded. They look like squat boar who are wearing cloaks that are camouflaged. And they are firing arrows at you from the foliage. Here we can do this. Clear some.
Yeah, time to go back to the woods here.
Back to the woods, right?
All of our good friends, Jackie, Rutherford, Pretty Camilla. I wonder where they
Carmelite
to.
Oh, I totally missed all of this stuff back here too.
Yeah, so
ironically, I
I'll
believe
put
this
the posture in the middle for right now until we decide where you want us to set up.
Ironically, I also think this is the map that you captured Devon in. So
yes, it was.
Yep.
That was our little lean-to over there.
Was that lean-to? I thought that was the wagon.
It might have been.
No, the wagon was somewhere else. That was a lean-to.
Well, no, I remember this is when the two guys that stole the wagon for you all, I had them sitting way back here because they were non-combatants with the wagon. Because Devon came from up here.
Yep.
Okay. How many irregulars do you need, Connor?
5.
5. All right. Ponner. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Those should be controllable by everybody. And we're going to drop some dudes here. Those are sized correctly. Okay. Okay, cool. Disperse these guys out here into the woods. Make sure they're about... I don't like the scale of this map. We need a little bit more space. So we're going to change this to 1 grid distance will be 1.5. Probably works a little bit better. Yeah,
That's a fair number of people.
it is. Let me get this right. Okay, that's good enough. All right. And you're surrounded. All of these dudes are armed with bows. Let's get them up here. Okay. And the attack is going to commence.
Right, and I suppose they are also initiating the fight, therefore they do have the advantage. Going
Yes.
first.
They do. Okay. They are sharpshooters, but I believe they're still rolling d12s. You're taking a d12 to defense. So, first things first, Ugly Buster. Ugly Buster, you're going to take 3 attacks.
Oh shit. Okay.
2d6 but you can take a d12 range die.
I don't need it. Let me see what I got for. I don't think he has a shield because he has a bill hook and no dodge. All right.
Love my 8s. Do not love that 12 though.
Well, that's 1 hit.
Okay, that's
With,
1 hit.
2 successes.
What was the weapon?
The weapon is a longbow. Is that damage +1, I think?
Could very well be. Let's find out.
I think the question is, it's a crit. Yep, crit weapon. So it's +1 crit.
+1 crit. Okay, so that's going to be 2 successes, 3 damage for the crit, 4 damage for the weapon damage. So it'll be 4 damage coming at you for this first one. I said it was Ugly Buster, right?
Yeah. So he's down to dying.
Oh
Oh,
shit! He did not soak any of it. Okay, yeah. So
yup.
damn. First one. Okay. All right. Next one's coming at Randy Joaquim. 7 high. Okay, so that's 1, so 2 damage to Randy. Okay, soaked. He's reeling. Next one's also coming at Randy, and this one gets an additional d8 because of the reeling. So that's 3d8, d12.
All right.
Did you ever get troop leader?
Sadly, no.
Ah, shame.
All right, that's an 8, so that's a dodge. Okay, we're going to come to this other side. Slippery Vern! Slippery Vern, we're going to do 3 attacks, same deal, at you. Here comes the first one. Remember, you're rolling d12s for these dodges as well, speed and range. Okay, yeah, good, you are.
Make it.
Let me just check his stats here.
Going to
Looks like speed and range.
focus.
I thought some of yours were crusaders. Don't they also have shields for cover?
Uh,
Well, I guess they're not ready.
Remember,
so-
he left a lot of those people behind. He picked up a
they
bunch
finished
of.
a pilgrimage in Triskellion.
He picked up a bunch of
Gotcha.
underworld people in Triskellion. Remember,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
they want to do rebellion. Gundam reference for some, and Ironclaw reference for others.
Rebellion.
Yeah.
Rebellion.
Okay, so that's a 2-point hit. Which is critical, so it becomes 3, so 4 damage again. This one's at Slippery Vern.
One soak.
Okay, so he's still standing. Next one will come at also at Slippery Fern. Killing irregulars today.
Hell yeah.
All right. Speed and range and 12. Okay. Slippery Vern.
I'm gonna say this tree or this bush here gives him enough cover.
Gives him some cover. Okay, we'll do
Oh,
that.
you're going
Sure.
to say that, are you?
I'm gonna hope. Is that better?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You could move him. I would say move him. Where's my arrow? I would say you could move him in a diswardly direction, but he's also reeling, which means that he's knocked down.
All right.
Okay, we got one more. This one's gonna come at Wispy James. Wispy James.
He has no dodge, so his rules are the same.
This is actually disregard the 8 because he's only should be rolling 2d8, not 3. Okay, so that's a 1-point hit on Wispy James plus 1 damage, so 2 damage total. Those are my arrows, and it's gonna be back to y'all's turn.
All right.
Okay, the damage was soaked. He's reeling. Yep, you got it. Okay, so yeah, a barrage of arrows from sides ushers from the brush. You guys are under attack. You've got a burning tent. I'll throw a tent down and I'll light it on fire. But it's your action.
All right. Have we seen our attackers? What are they exactly?
Yeah. I will say that you catch a glimpse of one of them. You can tell it's a boar. If you want more information, you would want to take a focus turn.
Okay. So Sir Connor, I could try to rally one of your troops and see if I can make them ready, or I could give you focus. What would you prefer?
Well, I was gonna rally you.
That's also fair.
Well, how about this? You let me run my striped ass up to here, and then you rally me.
All right, go for it.
All right. First, let me see what my speed is. Okay, that's gone up. So, dash of 4. Let's move 5 spaces. Much to there, and then run of 22.
There you go. Get all the way out there, and now I get to try to rally you. So, first step. I think that probably beats any distance die right there. So congratulations, you will have focus. Also, it's flesh ward time.
Well, you would have to get rid of the reeling first, and then give me focus. And yeah, it looks like you 10 and 12 do it.
Yeah, I have 3 successes at the minimum here.
Yeah, you're good.
So you're not reeling, you have focus. You have 2 points of flesh ward, roll your will, and roll your piety.
Hold on, let me put up the flesh ward.
What would have been the range penalty on a rally that distant?
Well, I assume you rallied.
Would be like a d12, right?
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I assumed you rallied before he ran, but I guess it's to remove the running
it's supposed
reeling.
to be to help him after he runs, so he's not reeling.
I believe outside of short is 2d12. So let's roll 2d12.
It's just 1.
Is it just 1? Hold on, I have this written down.
Either way, I still beat the 2d12 right now, so we'll worry about that later.
Ranges, short,
because then these
medium.
guys would have been defending with 2d12.
Oh no, you're right. You're
same
right.
thing,
That's
yeah.
true. They're within medium. It's a d12. Outside of medium, it's right.
So Connor, take another point flesh ward. You have 3 hits before you take any damage. Congratulations.
Nice.
And for my other action, I will draw my wand. You never see that.
Range battle.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Potter is going to try
Regulars.
to rally James. James is going to die.
All right. So you can either guard or try to take cover somewhere.
Yeah. Then Potter is going to use his second action to guard. Everybody else is going to take a focus. Well, let's see. Supervillain is going to recover and guard. Let me take off the reeling. Bernie's going to take a focus turn. Recover and guard on James and Joachim.
I guess they do have to reload first, but shrug. You could maybe draw your weapons.
No, they can reload and shoot. They just wouldn't be able to aim.
Mm-mm.
Well, it depends on what they're going to do. So yeah, guarding is still good. So we'll have to see.
Okay, that
So
was everybody.
it looks like it. Yep.
All right, so we're gonna start up here with Connor. He's the closest one to danger. So this guy is. I could actually give these guys names, right? Let's see if these are Doloro. There we go. Yeah.
Deviline.
These are Doloro? I was not going to guess that.
Deviline are the best. That's the best. That's my favorite name. I'm gonna write that down.
I mean, I must have missed something in the description. I assumed you guys were fighting Chevronnets.
All right, but no. These are boars with bows. Deviline. Deviline is dropping her bow. She's drawing her short sword, and she's going to do a charging strike. She's rolling her sprint die of 3. Perfect. All right.
I'm going to interrupt to attack.
Okay. Charging strike is like a combo move attack thing.
Yeah, they move and they strike first.
I think that you could use your focus if you wanted to guard.
All right, I'll do that then.
Yeah, because you're ultimately getting the same mileage out of here.
Yeah.
And in that case, I'll parry it.
Okay. Rolling 2d8, 3 and a 6. Yeah, not even close. Meanwhile, I think Margot is going to reload
That
and
fancy French footwork.
take a step back.
Yeah.
Winnie is happy where they are. Reload and guard. Okay. Over here, these guys are all just going to reload. Load. Of course, they're on the edge of the map, so it's a pain in the ass to change their tokens. So I will do that in a moment. These guys down here are going to spend their focus turns to aim and shoot. We'll do guard, aim, and shoot. They've got 3, so why not? Guard. Okay. Guard, aim, and shoot. We'll target the doctor since the doctor is not guarding. He's looking at the tent and realizing that their rations are in there and freaking out. Here we go. Oh boy.
All right.
Okay, so first one, 2d8 and a d12. That was a waste.
Got a d12 pacifist, and I got a d12 for range, as we clarified. So, let's do it. Hey,
All right, let's dodge. Second one, also coming at you. There's the 12.
Ooh, that's not good. Oh dear, that's really not good. What's my favored use of dodge here? What if I said range?
Okay.
Range attacks. That fair?
I think that we've done that before.
And this far without a favorite use of dodge?
Yeah, I have been shot that much. That doesn't clear out the d12, unfortunately, so that is a hit.
Okay, so it's 2 damage coming at you.
Alright, so we go ahead and find my armor. My soak, which I've also not rolled enough of. Not ever since I lost my armor, anyway. Oh, there we go. I'm fine. Though I believe I am really because I got hit. There we go.
Indeed so. And that's the end of my action. Back to you guys.
You never put anything else on?
Nope. I have resolve, I have my natural armor, and I have my body.
Right. I just thought you would have put on, like, leather or something by now.
I just became tough.
Okay, so to add a wrinkle.
Also, I'm wearing a robe.
Fair.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Oh, shit.
Hey, look, more people show up to help us.
They jump right in your fire.
What the fuck? Okay, sorry guys. Ignore that. Trying to duplicate this fire token. Copy. Paste. There we go. All right. The flames are growing. They're engulfing your tent. I will say you probably have moments before you start losing equipment to the flames.
Right.
Having a regular deal with that would probably be a decent idea. At least then they don't.
Bernie has focus. He'll guard and walk over there and take care of the business. That's 3 actions.
Yep. Yes. Is he going to try to put out the flames, or or just grab the gear?
Actually, he's going to rip the tent off of it so the fire goes with the tent.
Okay, that could work.
Right, so I suppose
Okay, cool.
that's basically would just count as a stunt and he goes reeling afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Give me a quick
Roll to flip the tent, yeah.
All right, and then everybody else will take focus turns.
I
Except for
wouldn't mind a
Popcorn.
rally.
I can.
Guys, I'm gonna ask for a quick break because I got a bloody nose.
Let me see if anybody
Okay.
can help me with that.
Yep.
I don't think I can,
What
but
is?
As danger comes in, quick break.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like a 5-minute
problem.
break,
Yep.
just so that my nose can stop.